Have you ever felt like your life was spiraling out of control, like you're just a passenger on a wild ride that never seems to slow down? Maybe you've struggled with emotions that seem to hit like waves, crashing over you one after another, leaving you barely able to catch your breath. What if I told you there's an ancient philosophy that has helped countless people, warriors, emperors, everyday individuals, find their center amidst life's chaos? This philosophy, known as Stoicism, offers profound lessons on how to master your emotions, navigate challenges with grace, and reclaim the power you may not even realize you've been giving away. Today, we're not just talking about abstract ideas or historical figures. We're diving into the heart of Stoic teachings and how they can transform your daily life, right here and now. I know some of you might be thinking, how can ideas from over 2,000 years ago help me today? But if you're open to challenging your assumptions and ready to explore something that could truly shift your perspective, then stick around. I promise you, by the end of this video, you'll see that the wisdom of Stoicism is not just a relic of the past, but a powerful toolkit for living a more composed, resilient, and purposeful life. I want to hear from you. Drop a comment below if you're someone who's open to new ideas, someone who seeks wisdom from different perspectives. Share your experiences, whether you're already familiar with Stoicism or just now beginning to explore it. Express your gratitude for the insights you've gained so far in life, and let's build a community that values growth and philosophical understanding. In this video, we're going to unpack 11 Stoic lessons that can help you master your emotions. These are not just surface-level tips. They are profound shifts in how you see the world and your place in it. I'm going to challenge some of your beliefs, maybe even push you out of your comfort zone, and I encourage you to watch until the very end to get the full picture. You'll come away with tools that can change the way you handle life's inevitable ups and downs. So, if you're ready to embark on this journey of self-discovery, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with someone who's seeking more than just the ordinary. Let's dive into Stoicism together, and who knows, you might just find that what you've been searching for has been within your control all along. Lesson 1. Embrace challenges as opportunities. When you face a challenge, what's really happening? You're being presented with a situation that's out of your comfort zone, right? It's like life is saying, hey, here's something tough, something you're not used to. What are you going to do about it? And this is where Stoicism steps in with a powerful tool, the reframing of obstacles as opportunities. Marcus Aurelius once said, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." This means that every obstacle creates a new path, a new way to approach something, a chance to grow and learn. Let's make it real with an example. Imagine you've just lost your job, a situation many would see as a major setback. It's natural to feel upset, worried, or even afraid. But embracing this Stoic lesson, you might ask yourself, what can I learn from this? What opportunities does this open up that I didn't have when I was spending my days in that old job? Maybe it's the chance to pursue a passion you've always put on the back burner, or to shift into a career that's more fulfilling. Maybe it's as simple as having the time to reassess what you really want from life. This isn't about pretending that challenges aren't hard or painful. It's about seeing beyond the immediate struggle. It's about shifting our perspective to view each challenge as a stepping stone rather than a stumbling block. By doing so, we not only cope with difficulties better, but we also open ourselves up to new possibilities. This approach doesn't just help us survive tough times, it helps us thrive, turning what could have been a roadblock into a pathway to something potentially wonderful. So, when life throws you a curveball, try to catch it and throw it back. Look for the opportunities that lurk within the challenges. Ask yourself how this situation might actually be beneficial. It's a profound shift in thinking that can lead to equally profound outcomes in your life. And remember, the way we react to challenges can define our path forward. Lesson 2. The power of reflective questions. What's so special about asking yourself questions? Well, Stoicism teaches us that it's not the events themselves that disturb us, but rather the views we hold about them. This idea comes straight from Epictetus, who was a huge advocate for self-examination through questioning. Reflective questioning helps us challenge and change these views, giving us more control over our reactions. Here's a practical example. Let's say you're stuck in traffic and you're getting increasingly frustrated. Now, if you ask yourself, will this matter in 5 years? It suddenly puts the situation into perspective. This question helps you realize that while it's annoying now, it's really a minor issue in the grand scheme of things. It's not about diminishing your feelings, but about empowering you to focus on what truly matters. Another powerful question in the Stoic toolkit is, what's within my control? This question is fundamental in Stoicism and helps differentiate between what you can change and what you must let go. In our traffic scenario, you can't control the jam, but you can control your response to it. You might choose to listen to a podcast, plan your day, or simply enjoy some quiet time. Reflective questions like these promote a form of mindfulness that's very active. Instead of being swept away by initial reactions, you pause and consider your thoughts and feelings more deeply. This doesn't just apply to negative situations either. When something great happens, asking, "What can I learn from this?" can amplify the positive impacts of good experiences. This practice of pausing and pondering isn't just about dealing with the present either. It's about building a more resilient and wise future self. Each time you engage in this kind of reflection, you're training your mind to think more clearly and react more wisely. It's about cultivating a mindset that automatically leans towards constructive thoughts and actions. So next time you find yourself reacting automatically, try throwing a reflective question into the mix. It might just change the way you see and interact with the world. And that's the real power of Stoic practice, turning what seems like simple introspection into profound personal change. Lesson 3. Distinguishing between what we can and cannot control. The Stoics, wise as they were, really hit the nail on the head with the dichotomy of control. Epictetus famously said, "Some things are in our control and others not." It sounds straightforward, right? But the implications are profound. By focusing our energy only on what we can actually influence, we can significantly reduce our stress and increase our effectiveness. Think about how often we fret over things beyond our reach, the weather, traffic, or even other people's actions. We can't change these things, no matter how much we might want to. Now, imagine letting go of that frustration and instead focusing on what you can change, like your preparation for bad weather, your departure time to avoid traffic, or how you react to someone else's behavior. This principle doesn't just help us cope with annoyances, it also enhances our relationships and professional life. In interactions with friends or colleagues, recognizing what's not in our control helps us avoid unnecessary conflicts. For instance, you can't control someone else's mood, but you can control how you respond to it, whether you escalate the situation or bring calmness to it. Applying this lesson means practicing mindfulness about where your control truly lies. It involves asking yourself, is this something I can actually change? Or am I trying to push a boulder uphill? If it's the latter, it might be time to reassess your approach. By consistently practicing this Stoic lesson, we cultivate a sense of inner peace and empowerment. It's like setting down a heavy load you never really had to carry. That's the freedom Stoicism offers, a practical pathway to reducing our own suffering by aligning our efforts with what's truly within our hands. So next time you find yourself getting worked up over something, take a moment to ask, is this within my control? If it isn't, consider how liberating it could be to simply let that go and focus on where you can make a real difference. This isn't about surrender, it's about strategic, intelligent allocation of your energy and care. It's about making the most impactful moves in the game of life, guided by the timeless wisdom of Stoicism. Lesson 4. The importance of reflection before action. In our fast-paced world, there's a real temptation to react immediately to every stimulus, to reply instantly to every email, to comment at once on every social media post. But Stoicism offers a different path, one that values the pause, taking a moment to reflect before we act. This principle might seem simple, but it's incredibly powerful when put into practice. Think about it. How often have we said something in haste that we later regretted, or made a decision in the heat of the moment that turned out to be the wrong one? Stoicism teaches us that reflection is the key to avoiding these pitfalls. By taking a step back, we give ourselves the space to think clearly, to evaluate the situation from all angles, and to act not out of immediate emotion, but from reasoned choice. This reflective pause is what Seneca was all about. He advocated for a measured approach to life, where one takes the time to assess their impulses and emotions rather than being ruled by them. By asking ourselves, why am I feeling this urge to respond so quickly? What might be the consequences of this action? We open up a space for wisdom to enter into our decision-making process. Incorporating this pause into our lives can start small. For example, when you receive a provocative email, instead of firing off a reactive response, take a breath. Give it an hour or even a day and consider your words carefully. This practice helps you respond more thoughtfully and often more effectively. The beauty of this Stoic practice is that it not only prevents regrets, but also promotes a deeper understanding of ourselves and our motivations. It builds a habit of mindfulness that can extend to all areas of our life, from our professional decisions to our personal relationships and even to our internal dialogues. By regularly engaging in this reflective pause, we not only make better decisions, but also cultivate a calmer, more deliberate way of moving through the world. It's about choosing not to be at the mercy of our initial reactions, but rather to be guided by thoughtful deliberation. Lesson 5. The practice of Stoic journaling. Journaling is something many of us might associate with teenagers scribbling secrets into diaries, but in the world of Stoicism, it's a robust tool for personal growth and self-reflection. Stoic journaling isn't just about recounting events or venting emotions, it's a methodical practice aimed at developing wisdom and resilience. The great Stoic philosopher Marcus Aurelius himself left us perhaps the most famous example of this practice with his Meditations, a collection of personal writings that delve into the challenges and reflections of his life. Through journaling, Marcus Aurelius worked to clarify his thoughts, scrutinize his actions, and align himself more closely with his Stoic principles. His writings weren't intended for publication, but were a means for self-improvement and philosophical contemplation. So, how does Stoic journaling work? It's quite simple and immensely powerful. You start by recording your daily experiences, but with a focus on analyzing your responses and reactions. The goal is to observe yourself from a distance and evaluate how aligned your actions are with your values. For instance, if you encountered a frustrating situation at work, you wouldn't just write about how annoyed you felt. Instead, you'd explore why you reacted that way, what this reaction says about your expectations or judgments, and how you could respond differently in the future. This kind of journaling fosters an incredible degree of self-awareness. It encourages us to ask ourselves tough questions like, am I living according to my principles? Or, what virtues did I practice today? By reflecting on these questions daily, you begin to see patterns in your behavior that you might want to change. It's about identifying your strengths and weaknesses and setting a course for personal development. Another beautiful aspect of Stoic journaling is that it serves as a private dialogue with oneself. There's no need to hold back or worry about judgment from others. It's a space where you can be completely honest, which is crucial for true self-reflection and growth. Incorporating journaling into your daily routine doesn't have to be time-consuming. Even a few minutes each day can provide valuable insights. You might write in the morning to set your intentions for the day, or in the evening to reflect on what transpired and what you learned. Over time, this practice can lead to profound changes, not just in how you understand yourself, but in how you engage with the world. If you've never tried journaling before, or if you've been skeptical of its benefits, I encourage you to give it a try. Approach it as an experiment in living more deliberately. You might just find that this Stoic practice is a key to deeper self-knowledge and wisdom, one page at a time. Lesson 6. Embracing non-attachment. In our journey through Stoicism, one of the most transformative yet challenging lessons is the practice of non-attachment. Now, when we hear non-attachment, some might think it means not caring about anything or anyone, but that's a misconception. Stoicism teaches us a different way to approach our attachments, how to deeply engage with life without being overwhelmed by the ups and downs it throws our way. The idea is simple yet profound. You can experience emotions, enjoy relationships, pursue passions, but always maintain a certain level of detachment. This doesn't mean you don't care. It means you don't allow these things to control you. Think about it like watching a play at the theater. You can get absorbed in the story, feel the characters' joys and sorrows, but at the back of your mind, you know it's a performance. No matter how intense the scene, you remain seated, composed. That's the kind of detachment Stoicism encourages. Why is this important? Because life is full of changes and uncertainties. If we tie our happiness strictly to outcomes, the success of a project, the behavior of a friend, the flux of our finances, we set ourselves up for constant turmoil. Stoics like Epictetus emphasized focusing on our efforts and letting go of our grip on the results. This approach doesn't diminish our drive. Rather, it enhances our peace of mind because we're not constantly swayed by external circumstances. Embracing non-attachment also means accepting that we don't own the people, possessions, or even the moments in our lives. Everything is transient. By acknowledging this, we can appreciate our experiences and relationships more fully, without the fear of loss overshadowing our enjoyment. Imagine how freeing it is to love not out of need or dependency, but from a place of genuine self-sufficient affection. Practicing non-attachment doesn't happen overnight. It requires mindfulness and regular reflection. It's about asking yourself, am I getting too caught up in this? What am I clinging to unnecessarily? Sometimes it's about preparing yourself mentally for the possibility that things may not go as planned and deciding that you'll be okay if they don't. Incorporating non-attachment into your life allows you to live more fully. You become like a skilled surfer riding the waves of life. The waves keep coming, some small, some thrillingly large, and some potentially overwhelming. But with non-attachment, you ride them all with balance and grace, ready for whatever comes next, enjoying the ride, but not getting knocked down when the waves crash. Lesson 7. Cultivating gratitude. One of the most uplifting lessons from Stoicism, and perhaps one of the most universally beneficial, is the practice of cultivating gratitude. Gratitude in Stoicism isn't just about saying thanks. It's about developing a deep and consistent appreciation for everything in life, the good, the challenging, and even the seemingly mundane. The Stoics believed that by focusing on what we have rather than what we lack or desire, we can maintain a balanced and content state of mind. Seneca once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future." This idea underscores the importance of appreciating the here and now, recognizing the value in each moment and everything around us. Think about how easy it is to overlook the simple pleasures of daily life, or take for granted the basic comforts many of us enjoy. When was the last time you felt genuinely thankful for a warm bed, a meal, or a peaceful moment alone? Stoicism teaches us to acknowledge and appreciate these aspects regularly, not just in moments of abundance or joy. But cultivating gratitude goes beyond appreciating the material or the immediate. It also involves a deeper acknowledgement of life's challenges as opportunities for growth. When faced with difficulties, instead of feeling victimized or resentful, we can ask ourselves, what can this teach me? How can I grow from this experience? This shift in perspective can transform our entire approach to life, turning obstacles into lessons and fostering a resilient, optimistic mindset. Practicing gratitude also enhances our relationships. By regularly acknowledging and appreciating the contributions of others, we foster a positive environment that encourages kindness and reciprocity. This isn't just beneficial on a personal level, but can ripple out, affecting our broader interactions and the community around us. So, how can you start integrating more gratitude into your life? It can be as simple as keeping a gratitude journal, where you jot down a few things you're thankful for each day. Or make it a habit to mentally acknowledge a few positives before you go to bed or first thing in the morning. Over time, these practices not only become a habit, but also fundamentally change the way you perceive and interact with the world around you. Lesson 8. The value of perseverance. One of the cornerstones of Stoicism is the value of perseverance, this incredible power to keep going even when the path gets steep and rocky. The Stoics saw perseverance not just as a necessary trait for overcoming difficulties, but as a fundamental aspect of a virtuous life. It's about showing up day after day, committed to your principles and your growth, no matter what life throws at you. Consider for a moment the image of a river constantly flowing against obstacles. It doesn't stop when it meets a boulder. It flows around it, over it, or wears it down over time. That's the essence of Stoic perseverance. It's about being that river, persistently moving forward, adapting and overcoming, and through this persistence, shaping the landscape of your life. Seneca beautifully encapsulated this when he said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." This metaphor not only highlights the necessity of challenges in the process of self-improvement, but also reiterates that the act of enduring these challenges is what polishes our character, much like a rough stone being smoothed. But here's the thing, perseverance isn't about grimly grinding through life. It's about maintaining your resolve with a sense of purpose and optimism. It's about embracing challenges with the knowledge that they are opportunities to test and manifest your values in action. Whether it's pushing forward with a difficult project, maintaining integrity in tough situations, or continuing to strive for personal goals despite setbacks, perseverance is about aligning your actions with your deeper philosophical commitments. Integrating the value of perseverance into your life can start with setting and sticking to small, manageable goals and gradually building up your endurance. It's like training a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Each time you choose to keep going, you're reinforcing a habit of resilience that will support you in more significant challenges down the line. So, the next time you face a daunting challenge, remember the Stoic perspective on perseverance. Reflect on how this challenge might be an opportunity to strengthen your character, refine your abilities, and further your understanding of what you are truly capable of. Embrace the struggle not as a barrier, but as a path to personal excellence and growth. Perseverance, in the Stoic sense, transforms what we might see as failures or setbacks into stepping stones towards a wiser, more fulfilled self. It's about cultivating a relentless spirit that finds guidance and strength in Stoic wisdom, enabling you to meet life's complexities with courage and composure. Lesson 9. Embracing change. Marcus Aurelius once said, "Time is like a river made up of the events which happen, and a violent stream, for as soon as a thing has been seen, it is carried away, and another comes in its place, and this will be carried away too." His words remind us that everything around us is in constant flux, and clinging to any moment or situation is like trying to grasp water with our hands, futile and frustrating. But embracing change isn't about passive acceptance. It's about recognizing the role of change in our growth and development. It's about seeing change as an opportunity to apply our principles and adapt our strategies. When we accept that change is inevitable, we can begin to focus on what we can control, our responses and attitudes. Think about the last time a significant change disrupted your life. Maybe it was a job loss, a move to a new city, or a sudden shift in a relationship. These moments can be deeply unsettling, but they also present a unique opportunity to reflect on our values and goals. By asking ourselves how we can align with these changes or what new doors they may open, we start to transform potential losses into avenues of growth. Embracing change also involves letting go of the past and the future to focus on the present. It's about acknowledging that while we can learn from yesterday and plan for tomorrow, we live and act in the now. This perspective frees us from the anxiety of what might happen or the nostalgia of what used to be, enabling us to act with clarity and purpose in the present moment. To integrate this Stoic lesson into your life, start by observing the changes you typically resist. Ask yourself why you resist these changes and what fears or expectations are driving that resistance. Challenge yourself to view these changes through the lens of opportunity and growth, rather than loss or disruption. Practice flexibility and openness in small ways, and gradually you'll build the resilience and adaptability that are hallmark traits of Stoic wisdom. Lesson 10. The power of mindfulness. Mindfulness might seem like a modern buzzword, but it's deeply rooted in ancient Stoic philosophy. Stoics understood that being mindful, paying careful attention to our thoughts and actions in the present moment, is crucial for living a life of wisdom and virtue. It's about being fully aware of the here and now, not lost in the past or overly worried about the future. So, what does mindfulness mean in the context of Stoicism? It's about self-awareness. It involves observing our thoughts and emotions without judgment and understanding how they influence our behavior. This is crucial because in Stoicism, the belief is that our emotions follow our judgments. We're not disturbed by things, but by our interpretation of those things. Being mindful allows us to see this distinction and choose our responses more wisely. For instance, imagine you're in a heated discussion. It's easy to get swept away by strong emotions. Mindfulness helps you observe these emotions as they arise, giving you the chance to pause and consider your next words carefully. This moment of pause is powerful. It can be the difference between a regrettable outburst and a constructive response. Incorporating mindfulness into everyday life starts with simple practices. You might begin by focusing on your breath for a few minutes each day, feeling the air enter and leave your body, anchoring you in the present. Or, during a routine activity like washing dishes or walking to work, you could fully engage with the sensory details of the activity instead of letting your mind wander to yesterday's problems or tomorrow's tasks. This practice of mindfulness not only enhances our emotional resilience, but also sharpens our ability to concentrate and engage deeply with life. The Stoics didn't have the distractions of modern technology, but they understood the value of not being pulled in different directions by external demands. They focused on the essential, cultivating an inner serenity that comes from knowing what is within their control and surrendering what is not. The power of mindfulness also extends to our ethical lives. By being mindful of our ethical choices and the reasons behind them, we live more intentionally according to our values. This doesn't mean we'll always make perfect choices, but we'll be more aware of our decision-making process and more aligned with our moral compass. So let's challenge ourselves to practice mindfulness daily. It can start with a minute or two and gradually increase as you become more comfortable with the practice. As you develop this skill, you'll likely notice a calmer mind, a more open heart, and a greater sense of connection to the present moment. Lesson 11. Finding freedom in acceptance. One of the most liberating principles in Stoicism is the concept of acceptance, embracing life as it is, not as we wish it to be. This doesn't mean resigning ourselves to fate without effort or care. Rather, it's about recognizing the limits of our control and finding peace within those boundaries. The Stoics taught that while we can't control external events, we can control our attitudes and responses. The freedom that comes from this type of acceptance is profound. It's about understanding that some things, many things in fact, will be outside our grasp, and that's perfectly okay. Acceptance allows us to let go of unnecessary stress and anxiety about outcomes we cannot influence. Take, for example, the weather. We can rage against a stormy day that ruins our outdoor plans, or we can accept the weather as it is and adapt our plans accordingly. This shift from frustration to acceptance doesn't just keep our mood more even, it also opens us up to new possibilities. Perhaps that rainy day becomes an opportunity to read a book, watch a favorite movie, or spend quality time indoors with loved ones. But acceptance goes deeper than coping with weather disruptions. It's crucial in dealing with life's bigger challenges, such as loss, failure, or change. Accepting these experiences as part of life can dramatically reduce our suffering. It doesn't diminish the pain or difficulty, but it does change our relationship with those experiences. Instead of getting stuck in a cycle of "why me?" or "it shouldn't be this way," we can say, "This is how it is, and I can handle it." This mindset is empowering. It doesn't strip us of our agency. It reinforces our ability to persevere. In practice, acceptance involves a daily, sometimes moment-to-moment, recalibration of our expectations. It requires us to stay vigilant about our thoughts and feelings, catching ourselves when we start to dwell on or struggle against unchangeable aspects of life. Each time we practice acceptance, we strengthen our ability to detach from turmoil and align more closely with our Stoic values. This doesn't mean we don't strive to improve our circumstances, but we do so from a place of serenity and wisdom, knowing well what is and isn't up to us. We focus our efforts more effectively because we're not wasting energy fighting the immovable. Our actions become more deliberate, more considered, and likely more effective. Thank you for joining us on this path of growth and understanding here at Stoic Journal. Don't let your exploration stop here. Check out one of the suggested videos on the screen to continue building your strength and serenity through Stoicism. Your journey is just beginning. and every step is a step toward a more resilient, more purposeful you. Thank you for being part of our community. Until next time, keep seeking, keep striving, and keep growing.